In Black Mirror's Be Right Back, camera focus, technology, and color physically and emotionally separate the two main characters, Ash and Martha. Camera focus is vital in this specific scene, demonstrating to the audience that technology and gestures separate Ash and Martha. Rarely we see both characters in the center of focus, and more commonly the focus switches between Ash and Martha. As soon as Martha walks into the room, she becomes the center of focus. Shallow focus is important because it emphasizes one character and their actions that prevail over everything else. The focus switches 5 times between Ash and Martha, in these shots demonstrating psychological introspect by not only showing one person's emotions but their body language at one time. This reveals how divided they truly are emotionally, even when they are in close proximity to each other.
Editing after Jack died.
When the focus is on Ash, he has an emotionless look on his face, sluggish body gestures, and his phone. His facial expressions make the audience feel that he is not content. This medium body shot highlights his slouching position with his head down that conveys his desperation to constantly glue his eyes to his phone. Ash is in the center of the shot with clutter such as pillows, boxes, and picture frames that surround him, pointing out his disorganization in his life. He wears dark colors and is surrounded by darkness in every single background he is in. Considering Ash's body language and surroundings, the camera focus gives a feeling of emptiness in Ash. Clearly, technology has taken over his life because more than half the shots have Ash focused on his phone and hardly paying attention to the world that surrounds him. Nothing in this shot is straight. Ash's phone, leg, hand, and even the couch are at a canted angle. This is another object that symbolizes his disorganization in his life. The bird's eye view shot angle establishes Ash's relationship to his phone. The fact that it is off-center demonstrates his inefficiency to communicate in day-to-day discussions.
What was that for?
Just checking you're still solid. Keep vanishing down there.
The focus stays directly on Ash's hand and his phone. That points out how important the phone truly is in Ash's life. We can see Ash's reflection on the phone that displays his subconscious awareness to be swallowed up in social media. Seconds after Ash posts his picture, someone comments on it, re-emphasizing the significance of social media in his life. These few shots demonstrates the emotional separation between Ash and Martha that relies solely on technology. Martha tries to communicate multiple times with Ash, but receives uninvolved responses, which ultimately leads to the disconnect between them. Ash is surrounded by dark, dull colors throughout this scene. Usually when there is a lighter room, he steps right back into the darkness. Ash wears dark green, both in his coat and in his sweatshirt, which represents greed and selfish desire. This color reflects on his actions, especially because he is engulfed on his phone, giving Martha detached responses. His messy hair and closed-off body gestures add to the polar opposites of Ash and Martha. Due to low lighting, Ash tends to make shadows on the left side of his body. His shadows reflect on the internal conflict that foreshadows darkness in his future. Ash's facial expression suggests being overwhelmed by the picture he holds. When the picture is in focus, it moves slightly, depicting Ash's rocky childhood. He takes a picture with a front-face camera, symbolizing his reflection on the past and how it affected him in the present. The exact opposite effect happens when Martha is in focus, and we can see the separation between body language and colors. Martha has relaxed gestures and uplifting posture with her arms pulled back and her chin propped up, stressing her superiority in the conversation. She's constantly surrounded by light colors, especially yellow. Yellow is known to represent happiness and other light, playful feelings. Yellow and white are the central colors in this shot, which represent communication and peace through Martha and her actions. Both of these colors are extremely brighter than the room that Ash sits in due to the two sources of light accomplishing a warm vibe. The dark yellow door takes up more than half the screen, showcasing the physical separation of the two main characters. The darker yellow is one of the few dim colors in this shot that represents disconnect, which blocks her from interacting with Ash. Martha remains the focus of this shot, which showcases the emotional division between them. The use of camera focus and body shots help portray the characters separately rather than together. Most of the time, the focus is on one specific character to show their different gestures and mood. Different hues and lighting serves to explain the divide between characters by having Ash wear dark colors while surrounded by low lighting, and Martha wear light colors while surrounded by high lighting. Technology plays a huge part in dividing Martha and Ash by lack of communication. The two main characters are emotionally and physically disconnected from each other by social media, colors, and gestures.